What dog? What dog? What dog? Gas bottle. Take your mouth, push it down, and spray the water. Just got to tell ignorant thing, just got to tell this man about it.
Alright, so there's a pump, and you can see there's a lot of smoke coming out of it. I don't know if that's a working pump, to tell you the truth. It looks like it's broken. Okay, we're here at a fire in Cummings Lodge, down the University of Guyana Road. And that explosion you just heard came from an apartment building. So I heard the guys down there talking about there being no water. And I just couldn't believe it, right? I'm coming here to basically see if they have water, or if it's a similar incident to the Gafour's fire, where the fire trucks fast ran out of water and were unable to secure any from, you know, the local drains. And I think I see that happening right now. They're struggling to get water from a clogged up drain. Let's go check it out. There's a fire raging through here. Now we're gonna check on these firemen here. There's one of the trucks. Fire raging over there in the distance. Commotion through the street. And down here are the firemen. Let's see how successful they've been. This is the gutter that they're trying to drain water from. What's been going on?
Nothing at all until we're not they can't even get water from there.
So they're not able to get water from the drain? Whatever the fire hydrant.
I don't know if we get any fire hydrant.
So any water pouring on it right now? Alright, so we can see the firemen here unable to get any water. It's a sad confluence of problems, like the drain not being cleared and us not having a proper fire hydrant system. But this is sort of the hallmark of any fire. You can see the Guyana Prison Service have had to come through. They've had to come through with their water truck, but it seems like it's been exhausted. And this is just sadly pretty typical of what you see at a fire scene. Fetching away the pump. Maybe it's another location. That's what normally happens. The hose.
Two homes at 5th Field Cummings Lodge were destroyed Thursday afternoon after fire ripped through the properties. The neighboring houses were saved. One house and a double lot was burned to the ground, leaving piles of ashes and debris. When fire crews arrived on the scene, the two houses were already burning. Maria Barju is the tenant of the house, which was burnt flat. She's a trainee teacher at the Cyril Potter College of Education who's a tenant at the property for 3 days now.
Because I was not present at the moment. I wasn't there. We weren't there then, actually. No, nobody was there. We were just returning when we noticed the fire.
Alright, so they now put it on the bridge. It's dark, so I'm gonna narrate for you, but they've run from the side of this clogged up gutter to the bridge that's directly over this clogged up gutter, and they're gonna move the truck. All the while, let's go down the road. It's sadly reminiscent of the Gafour's fire. It's sort of like carbon copy situation here. Five fire engines, no water. Now these guys just pull up there to get water, and it wasn't sufficient. They had to drive forward. I saw one fire engine drive over the hose of the other fire engine and puncture the hose. So these guys look like they're done. They look, and they're still driving over the hose. These guys still no water. I mean, this is unbelievable, and you have a whole trench here full of water, and this building here houses just hundreds of millions of dollars of goods, of valuable goods. There goes Gordon Mosley. On that section we have 3 fire engines, no water, same situation. Let me show you. Okay, those are some other firemen there. They've stuck their hose in the trench. No water from them either. And behind that there's another 2 fire trucks. This guy has moved off now. I mean, you wouldn't believe this is a big fire. I just had to be here to see it for myself. I know that this was burning because of Gordon Mosley going live actually. But from then to now, me getting down here, the 20 minutes it took, it doesn't seem there's been much water poured on the flame. So good night, Shivana.
Good night.
Thanks for agreeing to do a little phone interview about the fire in Cummings Lodge. So you were living at the residence.
Yeah, for the past 3 years.
What was your experience living there with regard to the electricity situation? What were your own thoughts, and what's the history behind the electrical problem there, as far as you know?
There were always several electrical problems. Like there was a constant low voltage. We always call GPL and report it. I even had them come and check the transformer. And so what happened for a piece of time, every time the pump came on, the apartments would get low voltage. And I found it strange since each one of the apartments had their own meter.
Yeah, that you should get low voltage as if you were all connected to one.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was the cause of that? Was there an illegal connection of some sort?
I have no idea, but I had GPL tightened the transformer, checked the post, and yeah.
So GPL never flagged a problem with all of those. How many flats were in the building? More than 30, I know, but do you have a specific number?
I think there were 27.
27 flats, okay. So I stand corrected. I was told it was over 30. So with 27 flats even, each of them having a separate line running from the transformer, each of the flats with a prepaid meter. And with the wiring as exposed as it was in the building, didn't GPL raise any issues or try to levy a penalty against him, or was
no,
aware of anything like that?
No, I was never aware of anything like that, but because of my personal paranoia, I would always call GPL, and there should be records of me always calling them because I was given a reference number and so all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they never did anything because he never did anything. It's the tenants we have to call. If something happened, we have to contact the service providers.
And I noticed that there were no sprinklers. I was unable to see any fire extinguishers or tank buckets. So before I go and say those things didn't exist, as someone living there, were you aware of any fire extinguisher?
There were
buckets?
no fire extinguishers, no sand buckets, no sprinklers.
And what about a fire escape?
No fire escape. The upstairs had one entrance and exit. And it's the same for the downstairs with all those wires running there, and people could have been trapped because those cables fell down when the fire started and the wires were live on the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I was also made to understand that the fire service couldn't even start work until GPL showed
Cut
up.
the power. Yeah.
How long was that between you guys calling in the fire and water actually starting to land on the fire? Like when GPL disconnected the
Like about 45 minutes after, if I'm correct.
And do you think if the landlord had put in place, according to the building codes, if he had sprinklers and fire extinguisher devices available on property,
yeah, a fire extinguisher.
The difference?
Yeah, I think a fire extinguisher would have outed in the inception. It wouldn't have blazed on so. Because it wasn't big at first.
Mm-hmm. And now, in terms of loss of property, what has been the forward game? It's now been a couple of weeks since the fire. What's been the forward game? I know the landlord had given the impression he'd given everyone back, their security deposits and the like. Is that correct? And what has been your interaction with him since?
Well, he gave everybody their security deposit, right?
Yeah.
He gave some back their January month rent who paid, and some he didn't give back. Like he didn't give me back mine and some other people. Also, he didn't say anything about compensation because apparently, as he says, his insurance is expired.
But even if his insurance is expired, failing to adhere to the building codes of Guyana, don't you think that makes him liable in some way for the tremendous loss of property? Because, I can't imagine what that number of people, each of you will have lost something that, you had your life in there.
Yeah.
What about intervention from the government?
Well, the government basically gave back the students laptops and like mattresses and so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But the accommodation situation is still uncertain?
Well, basically people found their own place, but the government had proposed to allow the students to stay at the gymnasium for 3 months, but they declined.
At the gymnasium?
Yeah.
Is there accommodation there?
I have no idea.
The gymnasium on Mandela Avenue?
Yep.
Wow, okay. And what would you like to happen? What would give you a sense of justice or feeling that there's been that's been fair?
I would want him to compensate us something because, Francis, we were working so hard for stuff in there. Me and my friend talk about this thing every day. It's like everything you work for, you lose.
And then that's how to justice. He washes his hands.
Yeah.
So there's been no prosecution or anything that you've heard of from the state even?
Pardon?
Have you heard of any plan to prosecute him?
Well, I spoke to Tarachand, we are, but he hasn't gone. And you see, the fire report is incomplete because he didn't go in for them to complete it. Apparently, the owner has to go in, and he hasn't done that.
So he hasn't gone in to complete the fire report.
No.
Do you have a number for him, the landlord?
It's 6230102.
0102. And I make
One.
understand he works in, what's his full name?
Tarachand Balgobin. He's a senior government official. Works at finance. He's the director for projects.
Okay. Do you think his position in the administration has influenced his behavior in any way?
I would assume so. Yeah. In the first place, he doesn't know how to deal with people. People can't have a conversation with him. He either evades it or he uses expletives.
So he gets verbally abusive?
Yeah.
And this is when you guys try to raise issues, problems?
Yeah. At one time, he told one of my friends, "Oh, if you're not happy with the service, you can leave." And you see, the fire started in Danny's apartment, right? And about that particular problem, Danny complained to him several times about it.
So no doubt in your minds that it was an electrical fire.
It was an electrical fire.
So what was the problem Danny was complaining about?
Apparently his bulb socket, right? Every so often the wire that leads to the socket, it melts.
Wow. And that was a recurring problem?
Yeah, which he complained about many times.
This water truck. He also doesn't seem to have any water. But the guys are on the guys are right on top of that bridge trying to pump the dirty water from the trench because the fire hydrants don't work, right? Every single year people talk about it, but it seems like it just needs an endless stream of fires before it becomes relevant. I don't know. Water truck, no water. Fire engine, no water for it to qualify, as a fire engine, do its job. These guys down here, they're also in trouble. Can't see them clearly here, but they're on the bridge struggling. Meanwhile, that building burns, and the one next to it is at risk.
Like the top, the fire service down Strubiness, they bring about 4 or 3 trucks and none in the water. You know how much body can left homeless? A lot of body. And it could happen to anybody part now. They ain't feeling for nobody because whenever done they happy they gone home for sleep comfortable with their family. While you there on the street studying how to get back you thing now. It's based on this, they need trucks with water, they gotta stop drive around the place.
A lot of people?
But actually 3 houses nearly burned down there.
Well then, the another one looks like it's gonna catch and they don't have water still.
They ain't got no water. Pumping. By that there should the
pumps up working as well?
The people the pump ain't working.
Well, I know it's not pulling any water down here, it's clogged up, huh?
They can't pull water from this trench because they got too much of grass. Look bush in this trench. Where they can pull water from?
The fire hydrant's supposed to be working.
But they got water in the truck. They can get the water from the pump. What do you watch? Don't worry down. You know much thing I'm black up the thing when you water. Yeah. You got 3 pumps you bring, 3 pumps. And none ain't working?
Now they bring a backup pump. It's a backup pump they bring.
Who is that? Homeless. I see the youth man in there crying, buddy. Hollering for things in the house. Them people they say, look at the thing, the hollering in. What do you know this, what?
I know this man is still calling me now live this gun.
You see that?
Right now, live in this gun.
You got what?
Man live in that gun, oh yeah, I'm fucking about today.
Is he house?
Renting there.
Eh?
He didn't come there for more.
I did though. When the man come and he here though.
Coming back, we come off this one. And the man's got UG, right?
He's with UG.
Yeah. Most of these students will rent the money.
But them people is down a lot of stubbornness. Cause I can't see you got so much a truck and nothing of water. You pumping, walking. What the? What the? What the? Gas bottle. What the? What the? When them fucking transformer next time, take your mouth, push it down and spray the water. You got to tell it. Ignorant thing, you got to tell this bad about it.
Alright, so there's a pump, and you can see there's a lot of smoke coming out of it. I don't know if there's a working pump, to tell you the truth. It looks like it's broken. Okay, so that pump looks like it's had it. It just basically started smoking. It started smoking when they turned it on. There's big billowing smoke, and now got all the firemen and the mechanics around it, haunting echoes of the Gaffur's fire, where the pumps just weren't working and they had a clogged up trench. It's just failure after failure. So it's basically not sucking any water. The mechanic is saying that never happened. That never happened. Well, guess what? People's houses are burning down right now. That's happening. So that pump is clearly not working, right? They're holding down some tube. So that's the end of it for the pump. There's still clogged up drain they would have had to pull the water from. And you can see over there the fire is showing no signs of abating. Just heard the gas bottle go up.
The government set it on fire?
No, the government didn't for not getting proper equipment to the people there. The man get pumped, fucking out the place and mask it up and stand up and watch.
The man is talking today.
This pressure, man. Welcome to the backward country.
But there's one man done, story done, scene done.
Good. Give me some of the shots out. Take out this again now.
Look with all the documentaries and so. The moment I see you with the camera, I recognize Francis Bailey.
Yeah, I come to look at the place.
One transformer, constantly getting this voltage problems, high voltage, low voltage, all time. Appliance is going on and off. This been happening since long time.
So you think this isn't like an electrical fire?
It was an electrical fire. We guess it. Yeah, it was. see, this is actually the apartment where the fire started.
This is where it started?
Yeah, I used to live over here, right? Just above this apartment, and this is the apartment from where the smoke started coming out. How it started, from I know, is my friend, right, living upstairs from this flat. He noticed that the what you would say, the ceiling of this roof and his ground, it started becoming like hot. So he just called his friend and see what's happening, like something's burning.
Yeah.
And we could smell some wires burning, right? If you see over there, it's still burning. You see it? Something over there.
Still smoldering.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this is what happened. He just.
So you
gave a
felt the
call.
floor getting hot?
He felt the floor getting hot, and you know how the ceiling and his floor, our floor, were wooden type.
Yeah.
It wasn't concrete thing. So he asked his friend to see if anywhere fire around, and he could see like a little smoke coming from these windows. And then we saw that, okay, this is the place from where fire is around. So everybody started screaming like, out, 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 fire, fire, fire.
How many people were in the building?
I guess at least should be 25 to 30 people at that time. And it was around like 7:30, around 8. That was the busy time where people normally does be at home, maybe cooking something or having dinner or something like that. So well, when this was happening, we all rush in the front. And when we rush in the front, people gather over here. So I was saying the fire is over here, and we know like how apartments are clumsy. You see the width between the apartment, like anything happens over here, this apartment is gone as well. So everybody stood over there and we were watching. So because we all panicked because our apartment is just next to it. So people just came, we tried to break the windows in order to like for some escape. We're like, okay, smoke is there, we should put some water. And then people tried to like open the door from here. Right? The door was locked. So they finally had to break the door. Now when they break the door, they realize the flames were too high and this fire could not be contained within this apartment. It's going to become something ugly. The moment we realized that, right? Okay, what can be done? We just push over there. Like the next minute happened is the wire from here, it started like electrocuting. Short circuit from that, it came over here. And it was like a terrible something because you see that's the main wire actually coming from the transformer, right?
So this is the main wire here?
Yeah, same main wire, it sparked from here and it fall down, taking every single thing. Now when it went over there, right, nobody could even enter that apartment. My friend who was trying to like put out this fire, he couldn't get inside even to save his phone because of I just went over there. What could we do? We had nothing to do.
So hold on, once the fire was here, nobody could get past here to get any of their stuff?
Because there's no other way, you see? The other way is coming from behind, right? And it still opens over there. There's no exit at behind.
So there's no exit in this building, just
I'll show you.
just the front staircase.
Yeah. So over there, right, we hardly got like a couple of minutes to grab if anything we could have grabbed and just leave. Now people in half minute you don't really because it was already panic and confusion. All the smoke was like thick. What I managed to grab was just my passport, my friend's passport with me, my file and my iPad and computer on the next side. Well, this is the luckiest apartment of this building where the fire didn't actually touch. It didn't touch. And the reason you see is right outside. The wires go from here to there. And this apartment had no connection with these things. You see, there's no wiring around.
Oh, so every apartment that was linked to this wiring.
Yeah, you see, wherever this wire was running through.
This is a main electrical wire?
Yeah, is the one coming from transformer.
Just running through the building like this? This at this height?
This height, yeah.
It's not very high. And this is how it was connected to all the
all the time. It was connected like this all the time.
You can see where all the wire melted even.
Well, everybody just had a choice, like if something they could grab was something little and just go in 30 seconds and stand in front of the building. Well, they went
so how
there.
much time did you have to pull
Like,
stuff out?
Pull stuff out like hardly 45 seconds. I couldn't even go back for my big suitcase which had every single thing, all the medical books. I just hardly reached my door. The smoke, the flames, right? In like 30 seconds, the flames were already reaching by the railings upstairs, right? It was already reaching my window over there.
Wow.
Yeah, the flames were like going up. So that thing, I reached until my door, flames coming from here. So I had to like back down and go back. I couldn't do anything.
So did the fire people say that they thought it was an electrical problem? Because you were saying earlier
Fire people didn't actually give any statement right now. Right?
But
It was
why would
just
you guys
investigation.
believe it was electrical? Tell me about the voltage problems you were having.
Because you see this wire, right? It actually was the wire which started fire all around from that corner. As I told you, right? It was first just contained within that apartment, the fire. But since the electrocution started from over there, right? The wire broke down and started sparking on both ends. Then it started catching fire on both ends, and it was like a bilateral something. It wasn't unilateral on both sides, going over that direction, coming in that direction as well.
And you were saying beforehand, you guys for a long time have been having low voltage
We've
issues
been
here.
having for a very, very long time, very, very long time. Yes, but what happened is, right? Every time an apartment will have something, okay, some little fixture will be done, and it's done, fixed. Like if you had to ask some person from here, somebody would have a problem like every single month. GPL has to come, they will do something over here, they have to do something on transmission. This would be like a normal routine for almost every single month. Be seeing it something happening.
So every month electrical problems in this building.
Something or other will happen, and we had this problem like even when there's blackout, right? This space will have blackout. This is not the normal thing where you come outside. Okay, it's blackout. Do you have blackout? It's not the question, right? Blackout is everybody should have blackout. When we have blackout, we'll come outside, we'll ask the next apartment, do you have blackout? So how come I'm getting current? This is a thing that was happening over here.
Okay, so some currents would go off, some apartments would go off, some would still be on.
Yeah, and this thing was a usual thing over here. Well, we always took in jolly mode. We didn't even know that this thing could happen, right? And it's not that the owner wasn't informed about it. He was well informed. He was well informed about everything.
Who's the owner of this property?
Mr. Balgobin.
Mr. Balgobin. Wow. So what about I don't see any evidence of fire extinguishers or anything.
Because there weren't any fire extinguishers.
Not a single fire
Not
extinguisher.
a single one. Not a single one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this is what was happening over here.
No fire bucket or anything with sand
not
even.
a bucket of sand. We were looking for some sand.
And no sprinkler system anywhere in the building.
Nothing. Absolute nothing.
So what about fire exits now? So downstairs here.
Downstairs.
If that fire caught down there, right? If the fire caught in that apartment, where were people supposed
can
to run?
From here, and there's two ways. There's nothing at the back, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
The only way you will go is still mid at the front over there. You see where the concrete is over there? In the front. Both of them open right over there. You'll still mid the same place.
So you might still have to pass the fire even. You see smoke still coming from
Yeah. Actually, what I would say is we shouldn't go any further because this thing is falling. It's falling since 2
What's
weeks.
falling?
The roof is still falling, little by little, little by little.
The roof?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Ceiling or the roof, whatever you see.
Okay.
It's falling. This week like that.
See down here? It's actually still still burning, still smoldering under here. Smells like wire.
Came with everything is lost. Everything is gone.
All your medical
At
books
least-
and stuff?
Yeah, my medical books, my medical equipment, and those medical books at least accounted for 200,000.
With 200,000 in medical books?
Yeah, medical books are quite expensive in this country, you know.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Books, the equipments, every single
What about social services? Have they reached out to you guys?
No, actually, I'm not from this country, so I don't really know what I should be expecting. But right now, I didn't get anything. Neither of us did.
None of you?
None of us.
And the apartment owner, what's he said since this was all
Apartment
happening?
owner, well, he said that the place is uninsured. So we don't know where to look at.
He said the place is insured or it's not insured?
Is not.
So there's no insurance,
No insurance.
no
He
extinguisher,
spoke in front of the media.
no fire escape,
Nothing. I'm not sure.
and he's been collecting rent from everybody.
He's been.
Cause this is really much more your losses than his loss. You know what I mean?
Like all their earnings, like whatever they had all their life earnings, that I would have.
People that what?
People, whatever they earn all their life, everything was accumulated in apartments over here. So there were instances where people have lost more than $3 million in one apartment.
Wow.
There was an engineer who had computers just worthing more than $3 million. He used to live upstairs with like this big UPSs.
Wow.
It was
It's one of the kitchens.
Well, when the fire service
Mm-hmm.
came, we tried to call them, and they reached like almost an hour later.
Hold on. The fire service got here an hour after you called them?
Yeah, almost an hour later.
Almost an hour?
Yeah. From here, the fire was already taken on. Well, when they came over here, they didn't really have water. Water finished abruptly after say 15-20 minutes. So what they're gonna do next? They tried to refill the water from the trench.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got here when there was no water being poured on the fire. And they started with the pump at the trench. But then they couldn't actually get any water out of it. The pump wasn't even working.
Yeah, pump wasn't working, electricity something. I don't understand the terminology, but it wasn't working. The next fire brigade truck came like something around 11:20 something. Second one, and when it came, like the cylinders were exploding, so nothing could have been happening.
Yeah, I was here when the I was here at that point. You can see like books.
This is apartment of one of my medical colleague.
Medical student.
Yeah, the medical student.
The second apartment up there.
Second apartment, that was just a normal apartment, and still we had all the appliances and so on. To start again from the basic things, from spoon, plates. When you go up and at the end, so it's the most difficult for him to come out if in case anything ever happened over here.
It's very, very poor construction. And next door you have another apartment building. So you're upstairs now on the top floor. And as you can see, no fire exit. This is literally the only entrance and exit to the building. Downstairs again, all those paths converge in one place. No fire escape, no fire extinguishers in the building, no insurance, no sprinkler system, not even a bucket, as you heard. And I mean, with the fire service, I read a report on Gordon Mosley's page on News Source that said the firemen had some difficulties out in the fire. And I don't know why we keep calling this difficulties when it's clearly incompetence. That's to blame for it. It's total incompetence. And it's cost these people very dearly. You can't begin to quantify. In each of these flats, there's someone's rice down there. Right? Each of these flats would have just had everyone's valuables. There's someone's kitchen here. You can see this room is actually still smoldering. And it was definitely the rain that put this out. There was a little bit of rain that fell because Guyana Fire Service had nothing. The floors have caved in. This is your room? Yeah. Afternoon. You're checking it out.
It's on the power cut off. I just want to think about what the back. Can you bring it back, sir? Can you?
Yes, you can, I guess.
Were you here when it happened?
Yeah.
You got any comments? No? I'm sorry, bro.
I have comments.
I'm really sorry.
It's Francis, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry. They had the prison thing with the tank. They didn't even have water in it.
I am part of this whole scenario, but it's like when she said calling for help, and everybody was trying to, with the brigades, to try to save here, because had we saved here, remember, it's a sensible thing to do, or selfless thing to do, you know. And then focusing on biting when you and what's the next one? Navin was going up back to probably get something. I was going up too.
Yeah.
When he said the place already. It's the whole situation thing, so it didn't make sense.
That's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
You live right at the back, and
Right.
having just this thing staircase over here is impossible for you to get from there to anywhere in case anything happens over here.
Right.
Didn't even have an exit on the
Right.
back.
And had it been an exit, we could have go wrong at the back. So start taking stuff and coming to the side because here.
It just localized it down here.
I want to go to the back. But I just think
we just went down to the back. You can go. But watch it with your slippers though.
Yeah.